Hello. I want to talk about something that's been near and dear to my heart, unfortunately. Um, my husband and I, just lost our almost 15-year-old black lab last Thursday. It's very fresh still. And we had his brother since the same time. They were born the same day in 2008. And Jenkinson passed away on June 1st of this year. This is 2022. And when he passed away, it was devastating to lose one half of the boys, as we called them. In a sense, when you have a dog, a family member, a beloved, I want to say pet, but not a pet, a family member, there's so much love that runs so deep. Some people won't understand that kind of love, but the people who understand it understand that it's devastating when you lose them. I was deathly afraid, literally. I was scared to death to lose my boys. When you have them for so long, you almost think they're going to stay with you forever. That's what I thought. Even though I would imagine living life without them, I would flit in and out of that because it was such a painful thought. And towards the last probably 3 years I had this mantra that was, they were born and they will die like every creature on this earth. Everybody has a beginning and everybody has an end, and that certain beginning and end, only God knows how long. And because they were born, somebody had to be with them. Somebody had to own them, love them, have them love them back. And I could look at that and say, I'm grateful that it was us, that we got to be their parents, that we got to be the stewards of these beautiful boys. And so in a way, it was kind of a soothing act to just realize their mortality and that, hey, I get to be the lucky one. So when Colbert, so to back up a little bit, Colbert was just about 6.5, 7 years old when he formed a lump on his left haunch, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. And, at first we thought it was one of those fatty, things that labs get. And then it was getting bigger. And so we had it looked at, analyzed, and it was a spindle carcinoma, or a spindle cell cancer. The good part about that type of cancer is that it's what it sounds like. It's spindly. It kind of reaches out. It doesn't go in, doesn't attack organs, and it's a slow growth. So we're like, okay, well, that's good. But we had it taken off right away. And he did really well with that surgery. And even the vet said, we're going to keep our eye on this. And, every 6 months, and he might need chemo and all that stuff. And, we prayed, for that to not ever return. And it felt like a really long time because it was, I think he was 9.5, almost 10. So it was like a good, 3 years before it came back again. And as soon as that lump came back, I was like, this is it, it came back. But at that point, he's almost 10 years old. And you think, okay, the shelf life, if you're going to look at a dog, big dog, 10 to 12 years. And I know that they can get older than that. So, but you think in those terms, okay, at almost 10 years old. Can we do this? Is it going to be okay? Is this going to take him? And so we had it taken off again. And I think it was another almost 3 years. So Colbert was almost 13. I think he was 12 still, almost 13 when the lump came back. And the vet saw him, and he was like, you know what? At this age, this really isn't going to bother him. And it might just be good to, keep an eye on it. And, so we just decided at that point that we were just going to, keep watch over it. And for a good long time, probably a good part of 2 years, it was okay. Didn't really bother him. Up until about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, it started really getting huge. And what used to be his black fur covering this lump, what was emerging was this bald spot. And it was just getting bigger and bigger. It was hideous and really heartbreaking to see. And last week, I noticed that there was this it looked like a pinky-sized discoloration on it. And we didn't know if, excuse me, we didn't know if he had brushed up onto something or what it was. And when I'd run my hand over it, it didn't bother him. He didn't wince. He never complained ever. And, this tumor grew to be quite a good size. Anyway, the next day, I was home because I had to wait for a refrigerator to be delivered. And every morning and every night, I would kiss him. And I would put my hand on the tumor and I would pray and just thank God for my boy, my little pirate boy. Well, anyway, overnight, this little discoloration thing became it was like 1.5 inches long and wide. And I took a picture of it and I sent it to my husband, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to go to the vet tomorrow and just show them the pictures. I just want to get their thoughts on it. And so he did. And they confirmed that, he's got to be in some pain with this. It was big and it was ulcerating. That's what that thing was. So our dog, Colbert, would have been 15 on January 8th of this coming year in 2023. But when they took a look at it and they said, it's not going to get better, it's just going to get worse, we just had to make the most heartbreaking decision that a pet owner can do. But it's like it was a no-brainer, and they were going to do a quality of life assessment, and my husband said, well, if it turns out that it would be better for him to just move on, pass, can we keep that appointment and do that? And they said yes. And so when he told me, I said, well, we have to do that. We can't, it's not going to get better, and we can't have him suffering. And so last Thursday at 3:30, we said goodbye to Colbert, and it was a very peaceful passing. And I just want to, I don't know why I'm saying this. I'm putting myself out here by saying this, but if it makes anybody who might be doubting, or if it encourages somebody, inspires somebody to just to know their pets are going to be okay. My husband was landscaping that day, knowing that at 3:30 that day, he was going to be, we were going to have to say goodbye to him. And all of a sudden he got interrupted into his day, and he said that he could see what looked like a steel bridge, but it was kind of hidden in the clouds and fog. But he knew it was the Rainbow Bridge. And first of all, I laughed. I said, I didn't know you knew the Rainbow Bridge. And I mean, I know everybody knows the Rainbow Bridge, but my husband is not, he doesn't talk like that. And so, but he said it was like steel. It was like a solid structure, but he knew it was the Rainbow Bridge. And I just thought that was really interesting because as ethereal as the Rainbow Bridge sounds, for me, heaven is something that is real and solid. And so that kind of made sense to me that this Rainbow Bridge would have some heft to it. Anyway, he heard, come on, boy. Come on, boy. And he knew that was Jesus calling our dog. And he said, but the weird thing is, he said, Jesus was super excited to get him back. And I was like, well, that's really cool. Like, that just made my heart, like, very happy to hear that. But he said Colbert recognized his voice more than he recognized our own voices to him. And that just meant everything to me. And so when the time came, we blessed him. We asked him to remember us in heaven and stuff, and just gave him kisses, and he went very peacefully. And it's not been a full week yet, and I'm surprised at how good I am. I have pockets where I'm not good. I think grief is like that because it comes in waves, and sometimes it's really sneaky. You don't know when it's going to hit. Some of the routines are okay. And then other times, like this morning, I went downstairs, knew he wasn't there, took a shower, stepped out, and was expecting to hear the tap. I called it tappy toes, coming in to see me. Anyway, that all is to say is it's still fresh. It's pouring outside right now. It's still a fresh pain, but I think it's going to get better and better as the days go on, knowing that he is not carting around that hideous tumor anymore, and that if he was in any sort of discomfort, he's not anymore. And if you stay till the end, I thank you. Sorry for all the venting or ranting. But I just wanted to share that. I just felt like, to me, it's cathartic. But if it helps anybody else, and if you have any questions, I have some resources that might help. Anyway, it's going to be okay. I tell myself that daily. And our pets are very important to us, but more importantly, the one that created them holds so much love for them. And so that just made my perspective change a little bit. Miss him like crazy, but I believe I'll see him again.